Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, today's date is December 4th, 2017. This is show 197, and the name of the show is Season's Greetings. I know, you're gonna think I'm a genius, but guys, I got that off the Huffington Post. But that's what tonight's show is going to be about. It's going to be about greed. The Republican unbridled greed. And how people like Trump, they get into power and they got one thing on their mind and one thing only: to take care of themselves and their billionaire friends. And tonight we're going to show you how the Republican Party is determined to ruin the working class of America. And you're gonna say, oh, Rich, stop with this nonsense. Guys, we're gonna show you what the new Republican tax plan is all about. And when you see what's gonna be happening, you're not gonna be a happy camper. And guys, we're gonna show you, right in the very beginning, what it's like at a Republican GOP meeting. So Judy, bring that up over my shoulder, please. And we want to see what happened at the GOP meeting this morning. Judy, there you go. Bring it up full, please. All right, guys, so this is the GOP meeting this morning, and I'm just going to quote what they said. Before we discuss raising taxes on the poor and middle class, adding $1 trillion to the deficit, taking health insurance away from 13 million, raising premiums by 10%, defending treason, and swearing in a pedophile, let's begin. Judy, come back to me. Let's begin with a prayer. And guys, isn't this the Republican way? I mean, isn't that a shame? And guys, you know, you're going to say, Rich, you know, what is this with the Republicans? And you're always assimilating the Republican Party with billionaires. Judy, let's bring up the second still, please. And guys, there's one way to find out if you're a Republican billionaire or not. There are two types of Trump supporters: billionaires and idiots. Check your bank account to see which one you are. Judy, come back to me. So guys, it's really simple. You're going to have people like Uncle Joey and little Stevie. Oh, and guys, I'm having so much fun on Facebook. These poor guys, they don't know what to do anymore, because they're finally starting to understand that they've been conned by Trump. They've been hosed. They've been taken advantage of. And like Joey's finding out that he's not going to be able to declare and deduct all the things he used to be. That's right. With the new tax plan, things are going to change. And I tell you, the middle class is going to get walloped. But, you know, Trump always seems to have a big mouth, doesn't he? But how come when it comes to this Republican plan, Trump always seems to tell it like it is, but for now, it seems like he's at a loss for words. So Judy, let's have clip number 2, please.
A president who tells it like it is. That's what America needs. But when it's time for Trump to explain why his tax plan gives a big cut to the wealthy, including lucrative breaks for golf course owners and cuts for rich heirs, all worth more than $1 billion for Trump and his family, why is this president suddenly at a loss for words?
You know why he's at a loss for words, guys? Because the truth hurts. He tells you one thing and he does another. And people are finally starting to get the idea that they're being lied to. I mean, well, they understood they were being lied to, but now they're starting to understand that there's repercussions when somebody lies to you. And we're starting to see it. And we're going to show you the next clip. We're going to show you how Lindsay, oh, I tell you, this is just great. This is what I call lying for a living. Lindsay the liar. And guys, we're going to play this clip twice. It's very short, but just listen what a hypocrite most Republicans are. So, Judy, let's listen to Lying Lindsay. Clip 3, please. Nope, clip 3, Judy.
So the centerpiece of the Republican tax plan is a $1 trillion giveaway to giant corporations. And it's paid.
A president who tells it.
What concerns me about the American press is this endless attempt to label the guy as some kind of kook, not fit to be president. I'm not going to try to get into the mind of Donald Trump because I don't think there's a whole lot of space there. I think he's a kook. I think he's crazy. I think he's unfit for office. You know what concerns me about the American press is this endless attempt to label the guy as some kind of kook, not fit to be president. I'm not going to try to get into the mind of Donald Trump because I don't think there's a whole lot of space there. I think he's a kook. I think he's crazy. I think he's unfit for office.
So, Lindsay, Judy, come back to me. So, Lindsay, why don't you mind up your make already? You know, you don't know if you're coming or going. 1 minute he's a kook, the next minute you're standing with him. And now it seems that most people are starting to stand with Trump over this guy down in Alabama. This guy, Roy, what's his name? Holy mackerel. No more, that's right. But anyway, listen, when you talk about lying, Bernie loves to catch a liar. And the next clip, we're going to show you Bernie's budget advisor. His name is Warren Goethals, and he's going to show you what an active liar Trump and the Republican Party is. So, Judy, clip number 4.
The Republicans lie and lie and lie. Every day that I go into this office, I feel like we're in a George Orwell novel. When up is down, down is up. My name is Warren Goethals. I am the staff director for Senator Bernie Sanders, who is the ranking member of the Budget Committee. I've been working for Bernie for 18 years now. They say that this is a bill that would cut taxes for middle-class Americans.
Our tax plan will reduce taxes for our middle class.
Nearly half of middle-class families would actually see their taxes go up instead of going down. They would take away deductions for medical expenses.
We are very confident that Americans are getting a great deal here.
They would take away deductions for student loan interest rates. They would take away deductions for state and local income taxes.
There will be middle-class families who get a tax increase under your plan, correct?
George, there's an exception to every rule.
So millions of middle-class Americans would see their taxes go up. The second lie is this bill won't cut taxes for the wealthy.
Wealthy Americans are not getting a tax cut.
Well, what the Republican bill is trying to do is repeal the estate tax on families that inherit over $11 million in wealth. That means that the Koch brothers, the second wealthiest family in America, would receive a tax break of up to $33 billion.
Obviously, the estate tax, I will concede, disproportionately helps rich people.
Right. Donald Trump the other day said he talked to his accountant, and his accountant told him that this tax bill would kill Donald Trump.
It's not good for me, believe me.
The reality is that Donald Trump would actually benefit greatly by this tax bill. It would repeal the alternative minimum tax.
We are also repealing the alternative minimum tax.
If you looked at Donald Trump's tax return in 2005, you will see that if the alternative minimum tax was repealed, it would have provided Donald Trump with a $31 million tax break.
I've been waiting for this for a long time.
They say that trickle-down economics will benefit everybody.
This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity.
Trickle-down economics only benefits those people on top. What we have to do is explain this bill to the American people let them know what this is all about, and do everything that we can to defeat this legislation.
I tell you, I love Bernie. And, you know, like Warren asked, he said, you know, we have to explain it to the American people. And guys, let's be honest with each other. This tax plan, it's hard to understand. So what we're going to do is first I'm going to read you our next clip, and I'm going to show you what the plan, what the tax does, virtually in essence, and then we're going to show you the Uncle Joey version so that most people will be able to understand. But Judy, we're going to roll the next clip, and Kurt, leave my mic open because I got to read this. So let's have clip 5, please. What's in the GOP tax bill? It increases taxes on 37 million middle and low-income Americans, lowers the corporate tax rate from 35% to 20%, gives $5.6 billion in tax cuts to households earning more than $1 million. Holy mackerel, repeals Obamacare's individual mandate, forces an automatic $25 billion spending cut in Medicare. I'm on Medicare. And 60-year ban on religious groups. Oh, no, no. Oh, no, 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 no. You want to have free religion, you pay tax. Allows companies to bring back money they've stored overseas. Allows the wealthiest states to double their tax exemption to $11 million. Oh man, the middle class is going to get hammered, guys. Doubles the child tax credit, eliminates tax deductions for tax prep. My sister's in the tax preparation business. She's going to go, she loves the Republican Party. Increases educator expense deduction, creates tax on investment gains. Holy moly. Taxes multinational companies. Holy mackerel. Guys, I think the best question to ask is, what doesn't it do? I mean, how doesn't it affect people? But guys, let's take it to a level where it's really simple, and the average simple folk that watch Fox News will be able to understand this next clip and what's going on. So we'll have Elizabeth Warren. Now this is the child version. So Uncle Joey, enjoy this one. Stevie, this one's for you, kid. So Judy, let's have clip number 6, please.
So the centerpiece of the Republican tax plan is a $1 trillion giveaway to giant corporations. And it's paid for by increasing taxes on middle-class families. So today, Monopoly Man is here to collect the money on behalf of the big corporations. First is the money from nursing home patients. The Republicans want to eliminate the deduction that people are able to use for medical expenses and give that money to corporations.
What nice guy.
Second,
see that, Uncle Joey?
is money from students. The Republicans want to eliminate the student loan interest deduction so that money can go instead
what
to
a
corporations.
Nice party. See that?
Third
of your kids went to college,
is the money
so
from small businesses. Because the Republicans want to eliminate the deductions that small businesses get for employing people with disabilities, for employing veterans, youth from disadvantaged backgrounds, and give that money to corporations.
Uncle Joey, aren't you a small businessman?
Is the money that Republicans would take away from 13 million Americans who would lose their health care coverage.
Hey,
this one is pretty cruel. I guess the corporations really need that money.
Nobody will have health insurance.
And there's one more, a special gift from the Champagne lobby that will see its taxes cut by 2/3. Now, you promised that you're going to use all this money to help grow jobs and make people wealthier in the middle class, right? Wait, Monopoly Man, the Republicans promised.
Monopoly man, that's almost the way you have to do it. I mean, sometimes, you know, if you speak to a Republican with facts and figures, they get all confused. Now, really, I mean, especially when it comes to global warming. You want to have some fun, just start talking about global warming with these yo-yos. But now we're going to show you the adult version, Elizabeth Warren's adult version. And guys, when you're going to see how they're trying to hammer this bill through, and how evil these Republicans really are, and how they got one thing on their mind, one thing and one thing only: taking care of the donors that helped get them elected, that put them in office, and this is the way they pay them back. And when you see how this was put into, how they're trying to put this into law, and what a joke this whole thing is, hopefully, people like Uncle Joey will finally say, wait a minute. Even I'm not going to let them insult my intelligence. I don't know, maybe that's pushing a little bit too far. Sometimes I wonder if he's got any intelligence to insult. But I love Uncle Joey, and hopefully, guys, on show 200, he'll make a personal appearance and we can sit here like gentlemen. I don't know. I mean, the invitation's open. If he wants to come down, he's welcome. But the thing is, like I said, I don't want to insult him. I want to keep him as a friend. I would insult his ideas, not him. And that's the one thing that we have to keep in mind. You're insulting ideas, not people. And the ideas are worth insulting. And when something is ridiculous, you do what? You ridicule it. It's that simple. It's really simple. All right? So now we're going to play Elizabeth Warren, her adult version. And when you see what these guys are trying to do, and it's virtually in the dead of night, they're hand scribbling stuff. I mean, this is as, and then you always heard with Obamacare, they did it in the dead of night. Well, guys, this is living proof that they are doing it in the dead of night. So, Judy, let's have clip number 7, please.
Here it is Friday night, and I just want to give you an idea of how the Republican leadership thinks we're supposed to make laws in the United States Senate. They have just released the tax bill. It is about 500 pages, and they want us to vote on this thing in about an hour. An hour. I spent more than an hour making a decision about the refrigerator that we recently bought. But the Republicans think that they can cram through a tax bill that will affect every family in America, that will touch every business in America, and they can do it by just jamming through a bunch of paper and telling everybody to go vote on it. Here's what else they've done. They're sending around their edits as we speak. Edits. So let me just give you one here. Section 13543, modification of treatment of S corporations, conversions to C corporations. Add A, adjustments attributable to conversion from S corporation, oh, it's been cut off, to corporation. Section 481 is amended by adding at the end, I assume they mean end, but again, it's all cut off, the following new subsection. Adjustments attributable to conversion for a corporation, something, C corporation, paren, dangerous? That can't be right. Ingenious? In the case of eligibility, something, S corporation, any increase in tax under this chapter, something, because it's cut off, by version, by reason of an adjustment, something very subsection A2, and which is, scratched out, attributable to such corporations, revocation, described in, paragraph, I'll bet that's paragraph, 2A shall be taken into account notably during the 6 taxable Y, yo, period, beginning, W slash, something, and then it's cut off at the bottom. And the Republicans think that's how you make tax policy late on a Friday night. Don't let anybody read it. Just cram through what you want to cram through. And why? Because they know they've got what they mostly need in here, and that's the payoff to the big Republican donors. And whatever else it does to hardworking families, whatever else it does to this economy, they don't care. They just want to vote this thing through and pay off their donors. This isn't right. This is not how America should be making laws. And shame on the Republicans.
You know, they've gotten people like Uncle Joey so full of hate that Uncle Joey would say, you know what? I'll pay more in income tax as long as there's not a Democrat in office. And then you say to yourself, Joey, when does this start? When is this going to make sense to you? You know, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. You're shooting yourself in the foot. And you do it constantly. And you do it, I guess it's got to be deliberate. What else could it be? Why would you be willing to pay more in taxes just to make sure that a Democrat wasn't in office? Same reason why you don't have health care. You don't have health care because the thing is you didn't want to pay for it. But, you know, the next clip we're going to play is Bernie's going to show you how we got robbed. How in the dead of night the Republican Party came in and stole $1 trillion from the United States, and everybody is just standing by like nothing happened. Well, guys, once you start figuring out what really happens, people ain't going to stand by. They're going to make things happen. So, Judy, let's show clip number 8. Bernie's going to show us how we got robbed. Hit it.
Watching in an incredible way the biggest act of thievery in the modern history of this country. Last night, trillions of dollars were stolen from the American people. But I got news from Mr. McConnell and from Mr. Ryan. They are not going to get away with that.
What a boy, Bernie.
Now, the reason why in the House and in the Senate these guys put together such a mammoth bill, such a far-reaching bill behind closed doors, literally, we saw parts of that bill last night 2 hours before the vote. And the reason they didn't want us or you to see what was in that bill is the more you see what's in the bill, the more you know how awful that bill is.
That simple, guys. That's why we can't be ignorant. And that's why we do what we do. You know, and just keep passing it along. But, you know, one of our reps from Connecticut, John Larson, was on the floor. And I want to tell you, he took no prisoners. And he makes me proud to say that I'm from Connecticut. So, Judy, clip number 9, please.
For this committee or for democracy in America. A 100% of the economy is impacted. And people in my state, in the middle class, are going to get a tax increase. A tax increase thanks to the myriad of lists of things that you've decided.
Thank you, Mr.
behind
Trump.
closed doors that they, because they make itemized deductions, will no longer have. They'll no longer have the state and local tax deduction. 4,000 eliminated from the personal exemption. Medical expenses, no longer. Eliminates deductions for student loans. It and adoption and teacher education for the classroom and employer-provided education assistance. Why? Because they've made a decision behind closed doors, not with any experts or testimony, but they've made the decision that this is the way it's going to be. And the vote will proceed like that in the committee. In the Tax Reform Act of '86, 30 hearings were conducted in this committee, 12 in the subcommittee, 450
Look at that guy. Look at the difference between 86 and today, guys.
None. None. No one was allowed to come forward. No one from the administration will even sit in front of us. We're the oldest committee in Congress. Many would argue the most prestigious. And members on this side of the aisle aren't even entitled to bring an expert witness. You talk about taxing success. All of our working professionals, whether you're a machinist or a teacher, and in the case of a teacher, if they reach into their pocket to pay for their students, you get rid of that deduction as well.
Can you believe that,
give it
guys?
to somebody who's already got an $11 million deduction on the estate tax. This is outrageous.
Outrageous? You ain't seen nothing yet. You think, hey, these guys won't quit. And why? I don't know. I can't understand it. When you got more money than you're ever going to be able to spend, what do you want more? Do you want to make people's lives miserable? Is that what you want to do? It's beyond me. That's why I'm here. If I could understand this, I wouldn't be doing this show. If somebody could explain it to me, I'd say, okay, I got it. But when you have unbridled greed, and when you go out of your way to make your fellow man miserable, why? This is what makes me crazy. And now we're going to take it one step further with Sherrod Brown. I mean, and this guy, I'm telling you, he took no prisoners, and just listen what he has to say. So, Judy, clip 10.
This myth that if you give a company a big tax cut, then you know what they're going to do? They're going to hand it out to their employees.
They're going to buy a bigger yacht. That's what they're going to do.
A year raise. Well, that doesn't happen. That's never happened. If my friends here want to give a tax cut to the middle class, why don't we give a tax cut to the middle class? Why don't we directly put the money there?
Now you're talking my language.
I know the president said he's a big loser on this bill personally. It will cost him zillions of dollars, whatever he said. We also know that's not even close to true. But if we want to do this right, if we really care about the middle class, I asked my colleagues, let's give a tax break to the middle class. Think about it.
Okay.
They're not even hiding what they're doing here. These taxes, these cuts go to corporate stockholders. They don't go to raise wages. They go to executive compensation. They don't go to create jobs. They go to stock buybacks. They don't go to middle-class Ohioans or middle-class Oregonians or Texans or Pennsylvanians or Alaskans. This month, we know what will happen. And then you know what will happen then, as Senator Rubio said, after we pass this bill, the president signs into law, the budget deficit explodes again. You know what will happen? Senator Wyden knows this. He'll come back, and you guys will all say, you know, we got this budget deficit. We're going to have to raise the Social Security retirement age. And you know what that means to a barber in Garfield Heights? You know what it means to a construction worker in Warren, Ohio? Or you know what it means to somebody that's working in manufacturing in Mansfield, Ohio? They can't work till they're 70, but we can all work till we're 70 if the voters allow us, because we got these jobs. Well, a lot of our constituents can't, and if that's the scenario, and that's almost inevitable, we do this bill, we pass this bill, big tax cuts for the wealthiest people in this country. We drive a hole in the budget deficit. We come back and make the middle class and working families pay to fill that hole. That's irresponsible. That's morally reprehensible, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Leader, Mr. President.
You know, you listen and you say, you got to be kidding me. Uncle Joey, is that crap going to float in your toilet? Huh? You going to let these guys get away with this? Your billionaire buddies that have paid to have you brainwashed? The guys that pay Fox News and hate radio? You know, and you guys all sing the same tunes because you listen to the same conservative media outlets. That's why you can't understand global warming. I was listening to Rush today, and I want to tell you, it was unbelievable. I mean, I'm saying to myself, how stupid do you have to be to listen to this guy and not be able to understand that he's giving you the old double reverse? How is it possible? I mean, have we lent a deaf ear to everything? You know, it's just amazing. But the next clip, Bernie wants people, like we always say on this show, be specific and cite your source. But Bernie wants to make sure that there's no cuts to Medicare and Medicaid. And watch, he doesn't let you get away. He doesn't let you escape. He doesn't let you change the subject. When Bernie talks, people are going to listen. And I tell you, I hope Bernie runs, because I'll give him 100%. So, Judy, clip number 11, please.
There it is.
But I want this program to survive. I'm going to acknowledge that we need this program for the next generation.
Here's my friend from Pennsylvania now, and that's interesting. Are you guaranteeing the American people that you will not be cutting Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid? Don't use the word save, because what save means is a cut. Will you guarantee the American people now there will be zero cuts to benefits in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid? But you're not, excuse me, it's my time. I will yield to you. I will yield to you, but let me finish. I yielded to you before. Will you guarantee the people of this country that after this bill passes, you will not come back, raise the retirement age, voucherize Medicare, raise the retirement age to Medicare, cut cost of living increases by instituting a so-called chain CPI? Do I have your word on that?
So I have to disappoint the senator from Vermont by informing him that there is no secret plan to do any of the above. We are not in some process to spring something. If we wanted to make these changes in Medicare and Medicaid, this would be the vehicle, because we have reconciliation protection to do it.
You know, let me just be very clear. I'm happy to hear this. Do I have your word now that you, as a senator, I know you can't speak for everybody, that you, as a senator, after this bill is passed, and I suspect it will be, you will not support any cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid? Do I have that word from you?
I am not going to support any cuts to people who are on the program and need those benefits.
There it is.
But I want this program to survive. I'm going to acknowledge that we need this program for the next generation.
Don't let him shuck and jive.
Let the cat out of the box, or whatever the phrase is. He just told you he's going to cut Social Security. That's it, my friends. He will not cut it. What he just said, he will not cut it for people who are on Social Security right now. I hear that. But if you are 50 years of age, or you are 55 years of age, they just told you, my friend from Pennsylvania just told you, they may go forward to raise the retirement age. They may cut your cost of living adjustment. That is what he just said. So there is a plan, and that is exactly what they intend to do. And that's why I hope that we can get strong support for this amendment that will require a 2/3 vote to prevent any cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And with that, Mr. President, I yield.
He wouldn't let him get away. He wouldn't let him get away. And this is what we need. You know, no more double reverses. Hold their feet to the fire. Make them make a commitment. And wait, Bernie has even more fun. Wait till you see what he does to Marco Rubio. And Marco Rubio governs in Florida. And think about how many people are on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid in Florida. And Bernie doesn't let him get away. So, Judy, let's prove my point with clip 12, please. Clip 12.
See Senator Rubio down here as well. He just the other day, correct me if I'm wrong, Senator Rubio. I know you just walked in and I've got you into this debate. But correct me if I am wrong, if you did not say yesterday that the Senate would now proceed to a quote-unquote entitlement reform, which in fact will mean cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And I would yield to my friend from Florida to tell me whether or not I am accurately portraying what he said just the other day.
Mr. President, it would surprise my friend to know that in Florida we got a lot of people on Medicare and Social Security. One of them is my mother. If I were to cut her Medicare and Social Security, sir, I probably could never see her again or go home. So the answer to your question is no.
Let me quote you, Senator Rubio. Tell me if this quote is right. This was a quote that you just made yesterday. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. But as I understand it, you spoke to a group of Wall Street lobbyists, and this is what you said, quote.
The only way you're going to deal with the debt is you have to do two things. You can't do one, you got to do both. You have got to generate economic growth, because growth generates revenue. But you also have to bring spending under control, and not discretionary spending. That isn't the driver of our debt. The driver of our debt is the structure of Social Security and Medicare for future beneficiaries.
End of quote. Now let me help define what my Republican colleagues mean when they talk about structural changes to Social Security and Medicare. It will mean that at a time when senior citizens are splitting their pills in half, Republicans will go forward with massive cuts to Medicare. Now, maybe their idea will be to raise the retirement age to 70, forcing older workers in terms of Social Security to work more before they can get their benefits. Maybe it will be privatizing Medicare and giving people a voucher.
Guys,
when my Republican friends talk about saving Social Security and Medicare, what they are talking about is...
All right, guys, you know, I was never fully aware of what they were talking about when they were talking about privatizing, you know, Medicare, Medicaid, and the VA. And guys, I didn't realize the logic and what they were trying to achieve. They want to put profits before the people in the VA. And you're going to say, wait a minute. Rich, how are you coming up with this? Guys, I'm going to let a vet explain it to you. And he's going to explain why he's in favor of the VA, why he appreciates the fact that he has a card that he's able to use virtually anywhere in the country. And then you're going to say, wait a minute. On Fox News, I've always heard that the VA is just a shambles and nothing works. Well, guys, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. So, Judy, let's have clip number 13, please.
With this card, I'm able to walk into any VA facility in America and have access to world-class integrated health care that's designed specifically for me, a veteran. But right now, Donald Trump, the Koch brothers, and their cabal of grifters are working to take this card away from me and destroy and privatize our VA. And privatize, that's just a fancy way of saying we're going to take tax dollars out of the VA and put it into the pockets of millionaires and billionaires. All this despite the fact that the RAND Corporation and other independent studies regularly say that the VA provides equal or better health care than the private sector across the board. All this despite the fact that veterans, when polled, overwhelmingly reject the idea of our VA being destroyed and privatized. In this campaign being led by Donald Trump and the Koch brothers to destroy and privatize our VA, it has nothing to do with improving health care for veterans. No, it's about two simple things. Number one, profits. There are 9 million veterans enrolled in the VA right now, and Donald Trump, he seems hell-bent on creating even more. More veterans, more profits for millionaire and billionaire hospital executives if the VA is destroyed. And the second reason, purely ideological. You see, the VA, it's popular among the people who use it. The VA, it works well. In the VA, it's also a government-run, single-provider health care system. And the people who are the opponents of Medicare for All or single-payer, they know that if they can destroy the VA, they can dash the hopes of there ever being universal health care realized in this country. So what are we going to do about it, gang? Well, I'll tell you, we're going to fight. We're going to fight to save our VA. We're going to fight to expand Medicare for all, because health care, it's a right. And we're going to fight like our lives depend on it, because I'll tell you, they do.
And guys, that's, you know, this is what you hear all the time on Fox News and conservative media. Government control. They want to privatize everything. Anything when it comes to the VA, when it comes to Obamacare, you know, the only thing Trump has achieved since he's been in office is taking away things that Obama put forward. I mean, it's a joke. And today he was out at Indian tribal lands, and Obama created a new sanctuary, and the other one was created by Clinton. And it's like anything the Democrats did, Obama tries to undo. It's a shame. But you know what? When it comes to telling the truth, the one guy we can always count on is Bernie. So when it comes to privatization, Bernie had a nice little chat with Chuck Todd. So Judy, clip number 14, please.
I mean, that really is laughable. I'm sure all the American people believe Donald Trump, because this is a man, Chris, who never tells a lie.
The president made a claim today about the effect of this legislation on his bottom line. I want to play for you and get a response. Here's what the president said.
This is going to cost me a fortune, this thing. Believe me. This is
when
not
you say
good for me.
believe me, that's when I know you're lying.
Me, it's not so. I have some very wealthy friends. Not so happy with me, but that's okay.
I mean, that really is laughable. I'm sure all the American people believe Donald Trump, because this is a man, Chris, who never tells a lie. What he's saying is, once again, a total nonsense. The vast majority of the tax breaks are going to go to the very wealthiest people in this country. If they repeal the estate tax, that it will benefit Trump's family very significantly, as well as the top 0.2%. This is a bill written for corporate America and for the billionaire class. They benefit. Working class is going to get hit hard.
The working class is going to get decimated. Who else is going to, if you're going to give tax breaks to the billionaires, where else are you going to get the money? You can't get it from the poor people. They don't have it. So if you can't get the money from the poor people and the money's going to the ultra rich, where are they going to get it from? The middle class. See that, Uncle Joey? Is the light starting to come? Well, Joey can probably figure this out, but he doesn't care. If it has an R next to it, my party, right or wrong, my party, right, Joey? But the next clip we're going to play you, we're going to show you where Bernie actually sits down with an average American worker, and he looks him in the eye, and he listens to them. And when you hear this, and you hear that these workers are actually being exploited, but when you see how they're being exploited, you say, you got to be kidding me. Isn't there somebody that can defend these guys? Who's going to be there to defend the working class? So, Judy, let's have clip number 15, please.
These trucking companies are giving us an American nightmare. They're not giving us the American dream. They sold us a dream in stating that we can be independent contractors by maybe owning our truck in a future date. We pay a lease every day. Before I come into work, I'm already negative. I'm also going to be negative at the end of the day because I also pay the fuel, the insurance.
So theoretically, you are an independent contractor?
Theoretically.
All right. But what you're saying is really you're an exploited worker.
Yes. They don't get overtime. They don't have access to the affordable health care because they're not employees. They don't even have OSHA protection. Every lawsuit that we've had, we've got like 100% batting record that these drivers are misclassified.
Wow.
They're driving these trucks and these companies are forcing them to pay the leases. They're basically charging them to rent the company truck. They're charging them to fuel the company truck. They're charging them to maintain the company truck. And many of these companies even charge them to park the company truck at the company yard overnight. This is highway robbery and it needs to stop now.
People are working 60 hours a week and people are making pre-tax?
Before taxes, yeah, $28,000 as an average.
How prevalent is this problem?
Every port.
Well, how many people are we talking about, do you think?
There's 100,000 port drivers. Studies show that better than 85% are misclassified.
Most of us, we work an average of 12 to 18 hours.
You work 12 to 18 hours a day?
Yes, and they pay us by the load or by the empty. They don't pay us by the hour.
Guys, I bet you never knew this existed.
The fact is, the way to control the drivers is to keep them in poverty. And one of the ways they do it, they have creative ways in which to create deductions that they have no control over.
Yo sí tuve que manejar hasta 20, 22 horas al día. Sí, como pueden notar, en esas 2 semanas trabajé mínimo 100 horas a la semana y todavía les quedé debiendo. En la próxima página pueden mirar que salgo negativo en las 2 semanas.
After working 100 hours a week, you didn't make any money? All right, I'm looking at things like late payment, deferred.
True North Insurance, what does that mean?
¿Qué es True North Insurance? La verdad yo no sé ni qué era lo que pagábamos ahí. Ellos ponen esos cobros y yo no sé si pago hasta por el perro del dueño de la compañía, pero yo no me doy cuenta.
Oh, brother, you can believe this, guys? Oh.
The vision at the beginning, the dream, was that someday you would be paying off and own your own truck, yes?
Ese era el sueño, lo cual yo no lo logré porque cuando me cansé de tanto abuso, y como puede ver, 2 semanas de mi trabajo y no llevé dinero a mi casa. ¿Qué historia usted cree que le puedo decir a mis hijos cuando me piden, papá, llévame al cine después de 2 semanas de trabajo? ¿Con qué palabras les digo, hijo, no tengo dinero?
De esta manera, estas compañías hacen negocio en el puerto de Los Ángeles con el estado de California y con el gobierno federal, pero al mismo tiempo que hacen negocios con ellos nos malclasifican y nos roban el salario.
We love our great truckers.
Loves our great truckers.
Thank you very much. You are speaking not only for yourselves, but for tens of thousands of workers. I don't want to suggest to you that under the current political climate, this is going to be easy to change, but it is a fight worth having, and we're going to stand up and do everything we can to protect you.
Guys, I'm going to ask you one question, and just be honest. Especially Uncle Joey. Joe, do you ever think you would see Trump sit down with the average working guy and try to make his life better? Do you ever think, really, Joey? Answer that question. Try to be honest and answer that question. Trump thinks about one thing and one thing only. That's Trump. And as soon as you get to understand that, and Joe, you're going to find out, Uncle Joey's wife is an accountant. I said to Joe, ask Nancy what she thinks about the new tax plan. See what she tells you. Hey, guys, the truth hurts. The truth hurts. But you know what? Some people insist on lying, and one of Trump's chief of staff, Flynn, was caught red-handed lying. And guys, we're just going to show you. We're going to show you the hypocrisy, because Flynn wanted to lock Hillary up, but now he pleaded guilty. He's got a chance of going to jail for 5 years. So, Judy, let's prove my point with clip number 16.
Lock her up, lock her up.
Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up.
You guys are good. Damn right. You're exactly right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Uh-oh. Instant karma's gonna get you. It's gonna knock
And you know why?
out.
And you know why? You know why we're saying that? We're saying that because if I, a guy who knows this business, if I did a tenth of what she did, I would be in jail today. So, crooked Hillary Clinton, leave this race now.
Well, he's not going to be in jail now, but he will be in the near future because he pled guilty. So it's kind of simple, guys. But you know what? Even though he pled guilty, the one thing that we really want to talk about is hedge fund managers and how despicable and how evil hedge fund managers can be. But there is a bright side. But first we're going to play the dark side, and we're going to let Bernie explain that with clip number 17. Judy?
In this legislation on page 503, section 14504 is a paragraph entitled, quote, modification to source rules involving possessions, end of quote. Now, what does that mean? It means that, as best we can understand, if you are a hedge fund manager who is a resident of the Virgin Islands, you will be able to get a major tax break on capital gains and a 90% reduction in tax liability on your income. Adding insult to injury, it appears that this provision may only help a handful of wealthy hedge fund managers who have claimed residency in the Virgin Islands. It has been estimated that this provision alone, one provision in a 500-plus page bill, will cost over $600 million in lost revenue in the next decade. There are a lot of problems facing our country: a declining middle class, 40 million people living in poverty, 28 million people having no health insurance. I am not aware that one of the great crises facing this country is the need to provide tax breaks to wealthy hedge fund managers who have established residency in the Caribbean. It may be one of those great national crises that I have missed, but I don't quite perceive it as being an issue that the American people seem to be deeply concerned about. And I would hope that my Republican colleagues, maybe Senator Hatch or others, will come down to the floor and tell us who this provision benefits. Are we talking about one hedge fund manager? Are we talking about two? Are we talking about three hedge fund managers who are going to divvy up some $600 million in tax breaks over the next decade? Is it 2 hedge fund managers? Is it 5 hedge fund managers? What is it? That's my request, and I hope we can get a response to that question as quickly as possible.
So how many hedge fund managers is it to split up $600 million? Can you imagine this, guys? But you know what? Like I said, there's a bright side, because we have Tom Steyer. And Judy, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curve here. We're going to play clip number 19 before we play clip number 18. And guys, this is Tom Steyer, and we're going to show you a commercial that he's been running, and I've seen it many times on CNN, but I've also seen it on Fox until Fox said their viewers complained, which I really doubt. But, you know, Fox being the Republican, news network, I can understand that. So Judy, let's have clip number 19, please.
He's brought us to the brink of nuclear war, obstructed justice at the FBI, and in direct violation of the Constitution, he's taken money from foreign governments and threatened to shut down news organizations that report the truth. If that isn't a case for impeaching and removing a dangerous president, then what has our government become? I'm Tom Steyer, and like you, I'm a citizen who knows it's up to us to do something. It's why I'm funding this effort to raise our voices together and demand that elected officials take a stand on impeachment. A Republican Congress once impeached a president for far less. Yet today, people in Congress and his own administration know that this president is a clear and present danger, who's mentally unstable and armed with nuclear weapons. And they do nothing. Join us and tell your member of Congress that they have a moral responsibility to stop doing what's political and start doing what's right. Our country depends on it.
Guys, you can go online and sign the petition, but you could see, I mean, Trump is unhinged. I mean, he's a loose cannon, and it's sad. It's sad that nobody, not even Uncle Joey, will tell Trump that he's a sick man. Why, Joe? Why? Because he's got an R after his name and an R in his name, you know? But now we're going to show you the Tom Steyer interview and, you know, why he does what he does. So, Judy, let's have number 18 now, please.
The special counsel, Robert Mueller, and multiple congressional committees are in the middle of their investigations, I should say, that President Trump calls a witch hunt. Aren't you playing into the president's message by calling for impeachment even before these investigations are complete?
As I said, an impeachment is actually a process where the House puts him up for a trial in the Senate. So in fact, to have him impeached merely means that in a public way, the Senate goes through all of the evidence right in front of the American people. And the fact of the matter is, we know from what he's said publicly that he has violated the Constitution and is subject to impeachment. There will be, inevitably, we're in favor of the Mueller investigation. God bless him for what he's doing. But the fact of the matter is, this president has performed in a lawless way throughout the campaign and throughout his presidency, and he is an urgent threat to the American people. So to sit here and wait, doing absolutely nothing, is the wrong thing to do. The American people want this man impeached.
Guys, let's be honest with each other. Everybody got conned. This guy pulled the wool over everybody's eyes. And, you know, people are having a hard time manning up. But, you know, it's gotten to the point where we have to be honest with each other. Uncle Joey, little Stevie, isn't it time? Aren't you finally going to say, yeah, we've had enough. You know, we don't want to have our intelligence insulted anymore. So how much more time we got, Judy?
Say good night, Rich.
I got to say good night, Rich. So, guys, we'll see you next week.
The special